Welcome back, everybody, to What's Up, Cuz. I'm your host, Jason Palmer, along with my cousin, the coach himself, Lancey Irvin. For those of you who are tuning in on our Facebook Live feed, we appreciate that. Go ahead and ask us your questions and send us your comments. If you're watching us on YouTube, do the same. And if you're watching us on the app, go ahead and do that. And, just want to remind everyone, remember, we started this show during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. The pandemic is still going on. There's now a new variant of the virus that has come out. This thing is going to keep mutating. That's just the way viruses work. So, everybody stay disciplined out there. We strongly encourage you to get the vaccines. I got my third booster shot last Tuesday. So I'm feeling really confident about science. And I know you've gotten all your stuff kind of lined up too. So
again, we're this weekend, Jay. I got a matter of fact 2 days ago. So
yeah, there you go. So we continue to encourage people, just be smart about this virus. We're trying to knock this thing out. All right. You ready to get to our next topic?
You know what? I am, but I'm not. I can't believe you clowned your cousin like
I didn't clown you yet.
You a hater, like the kids say.
That's what I'm a hater.
There you go.
Yeah, you and this guy look just alike, Lance.
Yeah, that's real close, Lance.
I haven't beside himself too. I tell y'all.
Oh, Lord. I guess I'm gonna get Will Smith to play me in the next movie. Then, if you gonna get Morris, but anyway,
you gonna get Danny DeVito.
But hey, it's time for our first guest of the evening. So let's talk a little bit about her. She is a professional golfer. She went to Jackson State University. You see, I'm wearing their shirt today. So I did not know that there are over 50 HBCUs that have men and women's golf programs. So that was something that I learned. But Shasta is the person we've been trying to get on the show for a while. But, she's a pro golfer. She's always traveling. She's got a lot of stuff she's doing. But I reached out also to DNA Vibe. And we're going to talk about their products a little bit later on. And she's an ambassador for DNA Vibe. And Shasta was so happy that we reached out to them because she really wants to talk to our viewership that we have and talk about the sport of golf, which I just took up last year. I broke 100 twice, Lance. I'm getting there.
It's not an easy game.
It's not an easy game at all. It's not an easy game at all. And then earlier today, we got some sad news. We got word of the passing of one of the pioneers of golf for our community in this country. Brother Elder passed away. Lee Elders passed away at the age of 87 today. And for those of you who don't know, he was the first African-American to play in the Masters tournament. He knocked down a lot of doors. Whenever you're the first in anything, it means you're going to go through more stuff than anybody else. So we can consider him in many ways the Jackie Robinson of golf, and just a lot of history with our people in this sport that we don't talk about enough. So I want to get Shasta on, and this just so happened to happen today. So I figured it was perfect time. But let's bring on Shasta Averyhardt is here. Shasta, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
We are doing great, and we are so happy that you were able to join us. Me and my crazy cousin. You see, we just kind of flow, Shasta. So it's that kind of interview.
Yeah. I heard backstage about Morris Chestnut. I'm going with Charlie Murphy. I really thought Charlie Murphy was the look. I mean, unfortunately, he's not here with us anymore, but I think Charlie Murphy.
You know what, Shasta? I take that from you because I know you mean it and you not a hater. And I like Charlie Murphy, but my cousin Ivan over there, they just beside themselves. But anyway, I'm just gonna be quiet. Go ahead, Jason, since you hating on me.
So Shasta, let's talk about the news of the day. And that was one of the reasons why we were glad for you to come on a little bit early. Mr. Elder's passing. Tell us a little bit about your experience with him and just what he's meant to the sport of golf and especially for our community.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to meet him. So
okay.
That's kind of a devastation, on my end to not be able to meet a pioneer like, Mr. Lee Elder. And also, I never got a chance to meet Charlie Sifford. So it's kind of tough when you lose the legends and, you know about them, you know of them. I think that the impact that he's obviously made amongst our community is huge. And when you think about golf, and you think about Black golf, the names of Lee Elder, Tyler Woods, Charlie Sifford, they all
Mhm.
come up. And, right now I have such a great relationship with Renee Powell, who is
Mm-hmm.
also a pioneer, a legend within the female space of our community. And so I love, checking in with her, making sure she's good, and just having a really good foundation with her, because you just never know, and it's just really good to establish those memories. And with Lee Elder passing, it's just such a sad time, because it seems like we're losing a lot of people within our community, and recently these past couple of years, and so it's been a very devastating day.
Yeah, it really is. And I tell people, without the people that you mentioned, like Brother Charlie and Brother Lee, Tiger may not have been able to be where he was, because one of the things I learned is that the PGA didn't even allow African Americans in the PGA until 1961.
Yes, that is
Wow.
correct. Which is it was 60 years ago, literally 60 years ago, and that's not that long ago.
Yeah. So, mad respect to Brother Elder and everything that he had to go through to get there. And, I'll just ask, that's on the men's side. Talk to me a little bit real quick about on the women's side, the pioneers for African American women in golf.
Absolutely. So the first pioneer was Althea Gibson. She was way ahead of my time, so I obviously never had a chance to meet her. But she was a dual sport athlete, so she made waves in tennis and golf. And so followed by her was Renee Powell. And so right now she's a living legend. She's up in Canton, Ohio. And, with her, like, just being so warm and just loving to all of us youngsters that have come out,
Mhm.
and, just kind of knowing that, hey, like, she's got our back, and we definitely advocate for her. She's right now also running her father's golf course that he hand built up in Canton, Ohio,
Wow.
called Clearview Golf Club. So, if you're ever in the Canton, Ohio area, Akron, Cleveland, if you can make a trip over to play a 9-hole golf course, I think you'll really love it. And you might have a chance to meet her as well. And then also we have Larissa Suggs, who came in 2001. And so she played on the LPGA for I don't remember exactly how many years, but I had the opportunity to meet her. She's now the athletic director at the University of Richmond as well.
Oh, good.
So you just knowing history, knowing for you is very important, just because it gives you a reason to be able to give back as well.
Without a doubt. And, the other thing, Shasta, as I was thinking about, these legends that we're losing, it's also important to know the history. And a lot of people don't know, right here in Chicago, we have the oldest women's golf club in the country. Is right here in Chicago. And I don't even know if a lot of people in Chicago know about this, but I spoke with Miss Williams last week. The Chicago Women's Golf Club is right on the south side. I don't know how much you know about them, Shasta. Have you met any of their members as well?
I haven't. No, I have not. I'm ashamed to admit that.
No, Jason, let me ask you, where's the golf club? Are you talking about 67, 63rd?
And no, I know Miss Williams is watching, so she's probably going to send me the addresses where we're here. I think there's like 93rd and somewhere. I think it's on the southeast side, over like around Stony, but I could be wrong. I'll find out that information. We'll get it posted. But it's just so much history with our people in the sport of golf. Don't believe the hype thinking that, people of color don't play golf, that we don't swim, that we don't play water polo, that we don't do this. We do all that stuff. So, and there's a great history behind all that. So thank you, Shasta, for that. We want to go down to give Brother Elder his respect, first of all. But the other reason we brought you on the show is because we want to talk about the DNA Vibe. And you are an ambassador for DNA Vibe.
Yeah.
And we're going to bring in our guy, Perry, who's waiting backstage. Perry, come on in and join us.
Hey.
Perry Kamel of DNA Vibe.
Hey, Shasta, how are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Now, Perry, tell us about this product, and then Shasta's going to chime in about it because she actually uses the product. And when I found out about this thing, I was very impressed. Oh, Miss Williams sent it to me. It's 2100 East 93rd Street. I told you she was watching. tell me a little bit about the product, this Jazz Sling, and then Shasta can tell us how she uses it as a professional
Then
golfer.
Lance has some questions, and thanks for coming on, Perry. I appreciate it.
I look forward to your questions, Coach. Let me say, DNA Vibe is an intelligent light therapy wearable company. We're very scientific in terms of how we design our product. It's a 4-mode device. You could wrap it around your elbow, your knee, your neck, your back, your ankle, whatever, wherever you need a little bit of help. It emits a specific frequency of red light, near infrared, magnetic pulses, and microvibration. And that combination stimulates the body's natural processes to help accelerate recovery, whether you're dealing with strain from working out too hard, injury, or even post-operative. We have 97% of our customers reporting positive results, getting back on their feet, staying active, doing more of what they love. And, our passion as a company is really summed up in terms of trying to help make the world a better place, one better life at a time. And whether you're a professional golfer, Shasta, we're so honored to be able to work with you, or you're a grandmother just trying to stay active with the grandkids, or everything in between. It's all about helping more people do more of what they love at a higher level for a longer time.
You know what? I'll let you go, Shasta J. Can I ask a question? You want me to wait till Shasta speaks?
Yeah, let Shasta chime in. She uses it.
Yeah, so I actually have it right here. So I'm gonna show you a little bit. So you see the red light.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, it didn't. It's vibrating right now. It's
Okay.
on because I have a power pack. So this is one of the options that you can use, especially if you're, in a restricted area, and you can just kind of lay back. And there it is. Yeah. So there's the red light.
Okay.
And one thing that I use it for, well, actually two, is my lower back and my neck. And so, along with chiropractic work that I have to do on a regular basis, after practice or after a round at night, what I'll do is I'll lay in the bed and just throw it on. And yeah, there it is, my lower back, especially because it gets really tight, and especially like week after week on the road, you're traveling, you're practicing, you're playing. You're still trying to lift weights, and you're just all over the place. And so for me, I'm like, look, I gotta be able to sustain myself, and I don't have a whole lot of time to just rest in the bed and try to recover. So I need something quick. And so when the opportunity came from DNA Vibe, I was like, oh yeah, I'm with this. Like this hits me all day.
Because when Jason said that you all was coming on the show, Perry, the one thing I thought about, I said, where was that when I was playing? So let me ask you this, because I suffer from knee issues. I had 6 scopes and I had like 2 ACL surgeries. So is this kind of like ultrasound, or what's the difference between this and ultrasound? Because when I was playing, they gave you ultrasound and that made you feel a little bit better. Is this similar to ultrasound, or what's the difference?
It's got some similarities in that it's emitting a certain frequency and you can wrap it around where you need it. But we're operating in a light spectrum with very, very small wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
And the wavelength is very tightly tuned to excite the DNA molecule to stimulate more of what DNA does. And DNA in your body helps restore healthy tissue and help revitalize and recover. That's all it does. And so we're not ultrasound. We're probably 1 billion times smaller wavelength, but we're really tuning into the body's natural process to stimulate that recovery. And listen, Coach, I'm an athlete. I was so psyched to hear Jason talk about swimming and water polo. That's how I grew up. I played tennis too. I was a ball boy for Billie Jean King way back when. And so like you, I grew up as an athlete without this, but I was patient zero. I was the first person 4.5 years ago to put it on. I had a tennis elbow so bad I couldn't hold a racket in my hand, let alone swing it. Forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
I put this on for 2 weeks. My tennis elbow was gone. I've been playing 4.5 years since, and it hasn't come back. So it doesn't just make you feel better. It can actually help root out the underlying issues.
You know what? Because that's one of the questions I have for you and Shasta also. Like, how often would I have to use this? say if I'm suffering from like my knee, I'm having a little bit of pain in my knee is swollen a little bit. Do I use this every day, or will it be once a week, or what? What's the time frame for this?
Well, I'll take that first from our perspective. You know, we have many thousands of users, and typically people report best results when they use it every day for 1 or 2 times a day, 20 to 30 minutes each time. So while you're reading a book, while you're watching a movie, while you're working at your desk, we even have a car power adapter for people who want to use it to and fro, out on the move or in the golf cart. And so 1 or 2 times a day, 20 to 30 minutes. Now, if you're dealing with acute injury or post-operative recovery, you'll begin to start feeling some relief the first and second time you use it. It stimulates blood flow, it accelerates oxygenation in the cells, and it helps relieve congestion and inflammation. And so you'll start to feel that relief. But if you keep at it, if you're dealing with a knee issue, a chronic knee issue, or a tennis elbow or a golfer's elbow, it's a 2, 3, 4 week. Keep at it. We've got some great stories from people that have come back, and one of my favorite was a golfer, not a professional, nothing like Shasta, probably more along the lines of a sub 100. But he had golfer's elbows so bad, he tried everything. He tried PRP injections, he tried PT, he tried steroids, he tried all of that, and was just so frustrated. He actually wrote us an email before he ever bought our product. His email was it was ranting. He's like, "This better work, or I'm going to return the darn thing." And he was venomous in his email. And so he ended up buying it. And within, like, as soon as he received the product, he put it on his elbow. And that very day, he sent us an email. And it was just, he sent us a text message through our app. One word, crap. And sorry, I don't know if I could say that on the podcast.
You can say it.
That's pretty polite.
We say everything on this show, Perry.
I'm just sharing verbatim is one word feedback, CRAP. The next day, nothing. The third day, this don't work. The fourth day, this is garbage. The fifth day, and this went on. It went on for about 2.5 weeks. We got these 1-2 word hate mails every day. And then about 2.5 weeks in, maybe ? The day after that, probably period. After about a month, he started saying, "This is changing my life." And it was amazing. So again, it depends what you're dealing with. We find 97% of the people have a good result. Some people have that result the first time. Some people have to stick with it for 2 weeks, sometimes 4 or 5 weeks.
You know what, Shasta, I had that. Shasta, and I know being an athlete, you probably use multiple products, right? When did you figure out this was the product for you? Because I have used it all. And after a week or two, I'm like, man, my back's still hurting. So when did you decide it was a product for you?
Well, so first I obviously got the opportunity to use DNA Vibe, and at the time I was having lower back issues, so they were kind of traveling to the upper part of my glute, and so I was doing chiropractic work, which obviously provides some type of relief. But I was like, okay, this got to be something else. I'm like, let me try this DNA Vibe before I start posting about it and letting people know like what the actual results are. And so it took about 2 weeks for me, and that's doing every day, 20, 30 minutes. I think the most I have used it was 45 minutes, and that was when I was taking a nap. And I was like, because I'm just trying to be efficient with my time, like trying to get everything in that I need to do every day. And once I started getting some relief in my lower back, I was like, okay, this actually works. I was like, okay, now I feel more confident to post about it, to tell people about it, because I'm actually seeing healing and recovery myself. So yeah, the lower back I was having issues, I think, just because consistently working out is kind of tough when you're on the road. And so if I can get to the gym or doing something about 3 days a week, that's pretty solid. And so if I don't do that, then my lower back starts to stiffen up because I'm not really working my core out. So, it's like give or take, right? So I knew that once my lower back started stiffening up, I was like, okay, I got to get back to workouts, but still not relieving the pain. So that's when the DNA Vibe came in, and I was sold after 2 weeks.
So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're being joined by a professional golfer, Shasta Averyhardt, and our guy from DNA Vibe. It's funny. He and I talk so much. Perry and I talk so much. It's like, okay, now we're actually doing the interview. I don't know what to ask Perry, but
I know what to ask Perry. I do.
So here's the thing, Shasta. So for you as a professional golfer, how important is it for you to have that flexibility in your muscles?
Oh, it's so important because it really takes a toll on your swing. Like you're using so much torque every day. You're hitting hundreds of balls throughout the week, and obviously have to compete. And so, the big thing for me was like, okay, like in the mornings if it's cold, I'm stiff. I'm doing my dynamic warm up. I'm like, okay, I need my hips and my everything, my back to be firing. And I need to have a whole lot of time where I'm having to warm up for like an hour and a half to get loose. Like I need a solid 30 minutes to hit balls. I need to be ready to go. And so for me, it was like, okay, I need something that's going to be able to help me to make that process smooth, especially the fact that I'm getting older. Like I'm not 25 anymore, so I can't just hop out the car and go hit tee
None of us can, Shasta. None of us can.
But especially for like pro-am days, there's kind of a lighter day versus, competitive days. And so that was a big thing for me. I was like, okay, like I just need some type of relief so I don't have to alter my swing or abbreviate my swing because I can't get through the ball properly.
Okay. Now, staying on the topic real quick, as a golfer, what are some of the key muscle groups that you use for your swing? And, I can imagine why this product is really important for you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So it's the core, obviously the abs, the glutes, the hip flexors, quads, your hamstrings. Like it's pretty much everything. But I think the major groups is definitely the glutes, the hip flexors, your abs, because you got to be able to activate because you do hit the ball from the ground up.
Okay.
And so it may look like it could be all arms, but essentially the arms is like the last piece of it.
Yeah, if I could add, we have a Hall of Fame golfer, Clayton Cole, who's now in his 80s. He's retired, but he loved playing golf. He played until he was 80, and then he couldn't because he had a trigger thumb in his hand, and he wasn't able to snap the club through. He started using the DNA Vibe Jazz Band, and he's back out on the golf course. And so, it's all kinds of things, whether it's the golfer's elbow, trigger thumb. I mean, it's really the whole thing. One reason the device is shaped like an ellipse, you can kind of see that.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. It's an ellipse. And it turns out this shape is computer optimized to fit the maximum areas on the human body. So it fits very comfortably behind the neck.
Mm-hmm.
It's very comfortably around the elbow, the wrist, everywhere you need it, the low back, the mid back. I put mine around my neck for an hour at a time while I'm at my desk. So,
okay. Well, to me, it's just so amazing. When Lance and I were athletes, the best cure for everything, Lance, was like a bag of ice and a heating pad. That was
a bag of ice, and that was it. That's why I'm sitting there and I haven't heard of this until Jason brought it up to me last week. Have you tried to market this to any colleges, Perry, or what's the next step?
We're growing so fast as it is, about 20, 25, 30% per month. We've got over 100 professional and Olympic athletes now using it, from figure skating all the way to martial arts. And we've got multiple MMA champions, world-class professional skiers, runners. Amazing. We also have about 400 professional clinics, chiropractors, over 250 chiropractors. You mentioned that a couple times, because they look at bringing solutions to their patients, right?
Exactly.
They want to be able to make the adjustments. They want to be able to get people in proper alignment. But, oftentimes they'll take the DNA Vibe while they're doing manipulations, and they'll strap it on the back while they're applying traction, and they do all kinds of things. So with 400 professional clinics, from sports medicine, chiropractic, physical therapy, orthopedic, we're growing. And colleges, college sports and athletics, professional sports, definitely in our wheelhouse. And one thing, Coach, we tell people is, look, this is great for athletes, but it's also, as I mentioned, it's great for, grandma, grandpa. It's great for that middle-aged guy who spends too much time doing yard work or goes out for a run and pulls his hamstring. Or we got a lot of young high school athletes too, like, kids who they're out from throwing the football and they're on the bench trying to nurse an injury and getting them back out. And really, that's what inspires us each and every day. We just love to help people do more of what they love.
And I know we're running kind of up against the clock here with you, Perry, and we got to get you kind of out of here in a couple of minutes. But I have it on the monitor for everybody to see. That is where you can get this product. And that's exclusively for the What's Up Cuz show and for my website, jcoydenreports.com. That is the website to purchase this product. I've got one coming. I'm going to do a report on jcoydenreports.com and let you know how it goes. I promise you, Perry and Shasta, I will not do an evaluation after 48 hours. I will give you like 30 days before I give this. I won't be that guy who's sending you a text every day. But tell us where they can get the product and how much it costs.
All right. DNAvibe.com. You can see that inside that link you put up there, DNAvibe.com. Usually running a promotion that'll bring you the product for under $200. We have a version for about $139, $140. So we work very hard to keep it very low cost. I will say we make our product in the United States. And that's a very important part of the company and who we are. We looked at what everybody does. You look at your iPhones, you look at your Fitbits, they're all made overseas now in huge factories. Mm-hmm. And we turned that paradigm upside down. We figured out how to build advanced electronic products in a micro factory. About a 40-foot shipping container is about the size of a factory that can do something like 20,000 units a month. Our vision is to drop factories in local communities around the country so that instead of making all the products in one huge factory, we're going to distribute that into local communities and teach them how to participate in this exciting process.
Well, hey, Perry, we appreciate you coming on and talking to us a lot about this product. I think you're on to something really big here. And I just appreciate you reaching out to me and taking the time and wanting to get this in front of our viewers and in our community too. We try not to be last in our community with all the information, and it's good when you're on the cusp of something new coming out. So I really appreciate you taking your time to talk about this product and DNA Vibe. So thanks for coming on, Perry.
Thanks. It's been an honor, guys. And Shasta,
right.
Good luck to you. Good to see you.
Thanks, Perry. Good to see you too.
So Shasta's going to stay with us, Lance, because we're going to talk some more golf. So I'm going to let you go ahead and ask her some golf questions because we got a lot of them. And I know it's a lot of people watching right now who play golf who are tuning in to watch Shasta. So go ahead. Uh-oh, you're on mute, cuz. He muted himself. Well, sometimes I try to do this to him on purpose. Come on, boy,
muted me on purpose. He muted me on purpose. Can you hear me now? But Shasta, you literally one of the first people I met that actually played golf in school. Like, when did you get started and when did you know you were that good?
Well, I started at the age of 7. My dad got me into golf, and it wasn't until somewhere around high school where I was like, you know what, like I'm pretty good because I started winning tournaments. I think that's a key, factor is if you're starting to win, it's like, okay, like you're beating people, that means you got to be pretty decent. And especially playing like a lot of top girls in the state of Michigan growing up, and I'm winning these events over them. So it's like, okay, like I have a really good shot at doing this. And so it was, kind of a done deal that I was going to get a golf scholarship. And so we just started sending out packets to different universities, and I had a lot of options. And so when we really looked at the pros and cons of all the offers that we had, it was like Jackson State was the best one. And I had to leave the state of Michigan. That was the big thing. Like leaving Michigan, going to play golf all year round. That was the big focus that my dad was really instilling.
That's what I was going to ask you. And I coach for a living, and I'm like, so golf, I'm sure you got a scholarship. Did you think about going anywhere else to any like PWIs? Did you want to go to Texas somewhere? You went to Jackson State. So I hear Steph Curry gave money to Hampton. So it's over 50 HBCUs with golf schools. I mean, will have golf teams.
So I didn't know that fact. I know now the number has decreased because of, economic times right now. I know Jackson State is looking to revitalize the men's and women's team because they did suspend their teams
Mm-hmm.
about 4 years ago.
Okay.
They were having budget cuts. So, yeah, I did look at PWIs. My dad's a University of Michigan alum, and so that was one of the schools I really wanted to go to. And I didn't grow up knowing anything about HBCUs. To be honest, I grew up in
Gotcha.
Michigan. It's Michigan or Michigan State, and so I'm looking at Michigan. I'm looking at Eastern Michigan. I had an offer that was one of the other offers that was really it was a really good offer on the table, and
Gotcha.
Jackson State being down south, going on a visit down there, I didn't see anything different. That was what threw me off when I went down there, because growing up in the Flint public school system, the demographic is about 50 to 60% of Black students.
Uh-huh.
So for me, going to Jackson State on a visit, it just looked like it was the same situation. Like, oh, it's just a regular school that a lot of Black people wanted to go to. And so it wasn't until, I signed and went down and at University Success 101 and sitting in class with my teammate, and they bring up HBCU, and I'm like, what's this mean? And then, historically Black college university, I'm like, oh, this makes a lot of sense. I said, how did I not know this? But it was such a great experience in Jackson State. Like, I had a lot of fun. It was really fun.
Yeah, and I mean, I know Jackson State, when they had that golf program, they won a lot of SWAC titles. Is that they were a very successful program, and it was sad they had to suspend it. But I mean, they now have Deion Sanders as your football coach. Deion is bringing a lot of attention to the university. He's bringing a lot of money into the athletics program. How big of a factor do you think Deion being down there is going to help in their efforts to revitalize the golf program? Because we all know football funds everything at these schools.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely Deion has brought so many resources to Jackson State. And, also the men's basketball team brings a lot of revenue. They're on the road right now doing about 12 non-conference games, and those are big money generators for the athletic program.
Yeah.
They're being compensated to come play some of the Big Ten schools like University of Indiana, University of Illinois, and so that also goes towards the pot for the athletic program. And so now with the AD and assistant AD, we've had a few conversations about, okay, like, we think we're raising enough money to be able to, now we got to start looking at a coach. Got to bring a coach in. We're going to need someone to be an assistant. And so these are the conversations that are being had right now. And with Deion bringing in those extra resources, I think the golf team will be able to have even more than definitely what I had when I was there. And especially a player like myself coming back and being able to be like, hey, listen, like, I've been around a lot of, players from USC, Wake Forest, Duke. I know all of the resources that they had, whether it's technology resources, access to a sports psychologist, having access to better equipment, things like that. I'll be able to at least help, contribute and be like, hey, this is what we need, and checking off the boxes.
Wow, you almost lost me when you started talking about the guarantee games. I understand.
I don't know if do you guys know that?
Oh yeah, he does.
Know that.
Please don't take him there, Shasta. We don't have a DNA Vibe jazz band for his
I'm gonna
brain.
talk to you off the record. You
Yeah.
made me lose my train of thought. I'm gonna talk to you off the record about that. Go ahead, Jay.
Oh God, let's not take him back there. So let's talk a little bit about your. Let's talk a little bit about you're being out on the tour. And one of the things that I just recently learned, I didn't know that there's a LPGA, and then there's another tour as well. And you play on that particular tour. Tell us a little bit about that tour and what it's been like for you as a professional golfer.
So when I took a break from playing about, I think this was about almost 3 years, I took a break and worked corporate. And so when I left and came back to play, I had accumulated status on the LPGA Symetra Tour. So
Okay.
it's like if you look at the PGA Tour and then you look at the Korn Ferry Tour, it's just below it. That's pretty much equivalent to the men, except for the money. The money's, we're not getting paid as much. But
Right.
needless to say, we have very strong competition. I mean, a lot of the players that are bouncing back from LPGA Symetra Tour back and forth, like everyone's pretty much can hit the ball the same. It's just more of a matter of maybe having a stronger short game and obviously a stronger mental state. And so we have a lot of competition, like competitive girls out there. Excuse me, I don't like to say the word girls because we're women, okay? Because we're not little girls, we're women. But we are really like, competitive, and everyone's very talented. And one thing that would be really nice is, being able to get a streaming opportunity to, broadcast some of the tournaments, because I mean, we're out here shooting like pretty low scores. And so for me, I think, this past few seasons of playing golf again, I thought I would have gained LPGA status at this point again, and I haven't. And so it's been a little frustrating, especially this year. I played a full season and I didn't get the job done at Q School, nor did I get on the money list this year. And so it's kind of reevaluating, things about my game and what can I need to be better in, and especially mentally, like how can I be stronger, and kind of getting out of the way and being able to allow myself to, come out the gate and shoot the 66 and then follow up with a 67 versus a 77, so stuff like that is always, a challenge, but it's definitely possible to fix. And so this is the off season time to do it.
You know what you mentioned earlier about scholarships and about playing in high school. Is it a circuit? Say if you don't have a high school that offers golf, how can you be seen and how can you get your name out there?
Well, the big thing is it really wasn't high school golf that really got me the scholarship. It was more of playing junior tournaments.
Okay.
So there's a junior wave of, tournaments and tours that you can play on. And so for me, I played in a lot of tournaments, amateur, like the Michigan State Women's Am or the Michigan Girls Junior Am, or going to qualifiers to qualify for national tournaments.
Okay.
And those are, or even just locally, like if you have, I grew up under the Flint Junior Golf Program and the Flint Intercity Golf Program, because you learn about more tournaments as you're exposed to opportunities like that.
Got you. And you said early on that you had to send out packets to schools and stuff, because many people come watch you, or you send out packets kind of like volleyball, you send stuff to different schools?
Well, yeah. So I mean, it's so long ago, but I'm sure things have changed a little bit now on how you're able to, send out your highlights to different college coaches. But at the time, my parents put together a DVD along with a paper resume.
Wow.
Good tournaments I played, and my GPA, like other extracurricular activities, and just send it off and just to see like what kind of responses we were getting from. We started at Big D ones because we wanted to stick with Division One, and then we looked at some Division Twos, and then we just kind of gather all the offers, and that's kind of how we did it. But I think now I'm sure it's a little different, I'm sure, like the way to do it, but a resource that a lot of people could reach out to if they're trying to get their kids a scholarship, especially the fact that they're really good. Like you can't like shoot in the 80s and expect to get like a college golf scholarship. Like it doesn't really work like that anymore. It just doesn't. Like you do need to be good. Because it's like you need to be decent, especially for men, but even for women, like you still need to be good. And so with that, a resource could be, so if you find her on Jamie Taylor, who runs Black Golf Directory, which is the Instagram name, Black Golf Directory, that is a great resource. And Mackenzie Mack, those two women, Jamie Taylor and Mackenzie Mack, are two resources that would definitely be able to help parents guide them in the right direction to, get their kids noticed and who to reach out to for the kids to be noticed.
Once again, we're being joined by professional golfer Shasta Averyhardt. And Shasta, the other thing that I think is really important, for people like me who are not going to get a scholarship or go on pro, but we're trying to pick up the sport. I picked up the sport during the pandemic because There wasn't nothing else to do. The golf course was open. And I was like, I've been talking about this. Let me just buy some clubs, go out there and start tearing up grass and hitting balls in trees. But I got started with it. And one of the things that's helped me is the Black Golfers Association on Facebook. Through the use of social media now, you can connect with people from all over the place within our community who can kind of get you started, give you tips. There are different events. Obviously, here in Wisconsin, similar to when you lived in Michigan, you can't play golf year round, but you can get out there and play. How big of a aid is it now that they have these social media groups which can help introduce people from our community to the sport?
Well, I think it's very helpful because everyone is on social media at this point now. This is, we're in the information wave, in the technology wave. And so with these outlets that are providing information, whether it's what brands to support, what's the best equipment to use, which professional golfers are that, they're Black professional golfers you want to follow. Like there's so many outlets that provide so much information for people that are new to golf or have been in golf and just want to be able to keep up. I think it's very important, and it's really nice for those outlets to be, to have a presence on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and now TikTok.
Yeah. And shout out to my guy, Kahart Mitchell, who I connected with today in the Black Golfers Association on Facebook. And, I think it's a lot of resources out there for people. And one of the things I have to ask you about, though, is that I found something when I knew you were coming on the show, and I did a lot of research, and I discovered there are only, in the United States, only 5 golf courses that are owned by African Americans. And I think you mentioned one earlier there in Ohio, and then the rest all seem to be in Florida. I think one is owned by the ex-wife of Bob Johnson from BET in Florida. Okay. Michael Jordan, I think, has one in Florida, and maybe a couple other people. What can you tell us about that? And are you surprised that there are not more Black-owned golf courses?
Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, I think just, we're kind of a little behind, and unfortunately it's not our fault, but it's just, we're starting to get access to more resources and more knowledge about a lot of the spaces that have been withheld from us as our community. So I'm not surprised, but it's really nice to know that it's growing. I mean, it seems like a slow rate. Obviously, there's only 5. But I'm sure there's a lot that goes into being able to purchase a golf course, or whether you're, creating a golf course and you want to purchase land and all that. But I have no idea what goes into that. But I can imagine it's a lot of work, and you have to really have a passion for golf and have an understanding of golf to be able to invest in that. And yes, Innisbrook, who is owned by Sheila Johnson.
Okay.
Florida, or Clearwater, Florida. So I've played there quite a few times. A nice track, and they have the Valspar there, the PGA Tour tournament there. So the Valspar Championship or something like that. So it's really nice to know that we're making strides. It's just kind of slow, but it's happening. That's the big thing. It's happening.
What age should you get started playing?
Fresh out the womb. Oh yeah. I just because it's so hard. No, but all jokes aside, I think the earlier the better. Especially, I think it's going to be easier for people that are athletic. Because if you're athletic, you can be able to train your muscles to do the movements that are necessary to be able to have a consistent swing. I think it's a struggle if you're older and you don't have an athletic bone in your body. It is going to be challenging because I play with a lot of people like that are just like, don't get it. And they and I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you're like, what's a tip? What do you think I should be doing? I'm like, I don't know where to start.
Was that you watching me on the golf course the other day, Shasta? I thought I saw somebody in them trees.
But Shasta, also, are they making the clubs different these days? Because it seems like the balls are going farther than what they used to go. And I know athletes are lifting weights and stuff. So is it a difference in clubs?
I think think that's a factor as well. Yeah, clubs, balls, you know, getting that right combination for yourself. I mean, I could say that this summer I made a switch. I went in because I hadn't been fitted for a couple years, and I know I had put on a little bit more weight, got a little stronger, and so I was like, you know what? Let me go see if I need new shafts. And so I just felt my clubs were a little too light for me, and so I went and got refitted and stuck with Callaway, which is my equipment sponsor.
Mhm.
And after I got my clubs, I started hitting my irons about 5 to 10 yards further. And I was like, wow, like equipment is a factor. Even though they're making equipment to go further, it just the combination of shafts, club heads, you know, your swing speed, all of that is a factor, and the ball you use. So I had to readjust my numbers. And so, which is obviously an advantage. You know, I'd rather be hitting a 9-iron into a green versus an 8-iron.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I'm writing all this information down, Lance. So
Yes,
I
go get fitted.
So I gotta get fitted, but at first I need to lose like 20 pounds. So when I play in the spring now, I'm gonna get fitted, Lance. Remember that. I gotta go get fitted for clubs.
But you talked about the balls also. So is the difference in the brand, the balls you use too?
Yeah, so the golf ball I use is the Titleist Pro V1, and that's probably the premier golf ball you could possibly use. Like it's soft, it checks when you're hitting wedges into the greens, when you're chip shots. Like it's a softer outer layer compared to like a Pinnacle. You know, a Pinnacle is going to go really far, but it's such a hard golf ball that it has no way to check or spin. And so, you know, for professional players, we're not going to use a Pinnacle. Like we don't really care so much about the distance. We're going to need a ball that's soft, that's going to be able to react to the greens. And there's just so many brands with, you know, with different types of golfing faces. And so I've used Titleist since freshman year of college, and I have not switched.
Wow. See, that's the problem, Lance. See, I'm learning a lot of stuff here. One of the reasons why I didn't buy the different balls, Lance, is because when you keep hitting them in the water, it doesn't matter what brand you buy.
Yeah, if you hit them in the water, like it can get expensive. So I can see why you don't buy a Pro V. Like you're not gonna go buy a dozen of Pro Vs. It's like $50.
And you know what, Shasta? Because like 7 years ago, I started golfing. I haven't really golfed since. But a friend of mine was like, "Man, those clubs you're using are too little for you." Because my wife, she was just getting me started. So you know, I used that. Then he said, "Try this one," and I hit that ball far as heck. So you suggest people getting started should go get fitted, or should you wait to see if you're gonna like the game first?
Good question.
Before you get fitted.
I would say wait. You know, get your lessons. You got to get lessons. Unless you're going to go on YouTube and learn how, you know, swing the club. That's another way to do it. But
that is not me, Shasta. By the way, that was not me.
That's him.
That was not me.
I would definitely suggest waiting until you have somewhat of a foundation with the technique, the fundamentals of the golf swing, and then now let me go get the equipment that matches my particular swing type, because everyone has a different swing. So I would just say hold off, don't go and get customized clubs until you have an established golf swing.
Got you. What's the price range to get fitted clubs for those of us don't know? Because I don't have money like Jason. I only have money like Morris.
Well, like Morris Chestnut. I would say a fitting can range anywhere from $100 to $350.
Okay.
Got you.
And the $350 is like getting the whole set. You're at one like a True Spec. True Spec is a company that specializes in fitting individuals. So that's like on the higher end.
And Shasta, just a couple more questions here before we gotta let you go. But I wanted to ask, are there similar challenges for women's golfers playing on the Pro Tour that we've heard from athletes in the WNBA, the National Women's Soccer League, the women, even on the women's tennis tour before Venus and Serena got there, the prize money differential was just ridiculous. And, you know, they've tried to balance that out. What are some of the challenges that are going on the women's tour? What are you all trying to do since we're now in this age of social justice and trying to right wrongs from the past and get women equal pay and equal access to facilities and all that stuff, what are some of the things you could talk about for the women's side in golf?
I would say money is still an issue for
Mm-hmm.
sure. I definitely think the LPGA is pushing, sponsors for 2022 to really kick it up a notch. Chevron is going to be the new sponsor of the ANA, which is the first major out west on the LPGA tour, and so they have kicked in a lot of additional money into the purse, where the winner is going to take home like I think 60% more than what the winner has in the past, which is obviously making strides, is what we're working towards. But I also just seen some of the differences, the viewership, the exposure compared to the men is a significant difference. I look at even just the quality of the golf courses is a difference sometimes. I see the even just in regards to the setup of the golf course, sometimes there could be a difference there. The sponsors really, especially as a first year sponsor, you don't know really what to do, so you're having to be guided by the tour to know like, hey, this is what is expected to a traditional golf tournament. And so sometimes I think, as a tour, we're kind of looking at, as who the people that speak on behalf of the players. They're out there on the sales and they're finding the sponsors and the venues. And they're kind of like, okay, it's like a mindset of taking what we can get versus a demand of what we deserve. And I think that's the difference sometimes. I'm not inside, I'm not on that side. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I'm just on the outside. I'm playing and I'm showing up, and I'm looking to see like how things are set up. And compared to the men, like you just look at the LPGA and the PGA Tour tournaments look like it's so much entertainment, it's so much going on, like it's a complete party from Thursday to Sunday. And we look at the LPGA, it's not really like that, unfortunately. And so it's just trying to get more support, people coming and finding interest, particular players that they like to follow. And maybe LPGA looking more towards the entertainment side of the game, just to kind of mirror the PGA Tour. Because like they're obviously what we're looking to strive to be. So
I agree. Well, Shasta,
I have to
go ahead with that one last one, Lance, real quick.
Shasta, do me a favor. If you see my cousin Jason out there golfing, could you help his dressing? Could you tell him where he could go to get some nice golfing wear, please? Please promise me that. What? That's all I want to ask you. Go ahead, Jay.
What's wrong with the attire?
Nothing.
Basic stuff. He like basic stuff. Would you tell him what he needs to wear when he's golfing? Like,
I don't need all them colors, man. I'm a basic kind of guy.
Shasta,
You want him to be flashy.
I want him to have the right swag out there. I bet you Shasta has swag. I want his what does the kids say, drip? I want his drip to be right. His drip is not right.
A little bit drip.
We have fun on the show, Shasta.
Shasta, I'm just trying to hit the ball straight. That's all I'm trying to do.
Like, my focus is the golf ball from point A to point B.
That's that Charles Barkley swing. I am not that bad, okay?
Yes, you are. But Shasta, if you look good, you play good. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, you do. You look good. You play good. You feel good. I mean, it's all that.
All right. And remember everybody, purchase the Jazz Sling. It's what Shasta uses. It's what I'm gonna start using. DNA Vibe. There's a link. Go on the links. Go on the link for the What's Up Cuz show. Go ahead and get this product. There you go. She's got the product. Shasta, thank you so much for talking to us. We really appreciate it. I know we're kind of crazy, but I hope you had a good time. And you can come back anytime you want. And anything you need from us to help promote your game or promote the tour, just let us know. And a shout out to the women once again at the Chicago Women's Golf Club. That's the oldest organization in the country for women, man. It's right on the south side of Chicago, 2100 East 93rd Street with my girl, Miss Williams. So thank you so much, Shasta. Good luck to you next
Thanks,
season.
guys. I
We gonna come
appreciate
see
it.
you when you're playing South Bend next year. We coming.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah, for
please.
sure.
I would love that.
All
Hey, Jay,
right.
we have to go for sure.
We're gonna take a commercial break, and then we're coming up next with your girl Jenny Myers. We're gonna talk some athletic training, so I can really get out there on the golf course. Yeah, boy, I've been rolling.